Hello and welcome to another OnlyAccies podcast. Today I am joined as always by Brandon and we're also joined today by David. Now boys, there's plenty to talk about. It's been quite a while since our last podcast. I suppose we'll start with the breaking news. Today as of recording we have two brand new kits. I like them both. I think they're very, very nice. Brandon, what are your thoughts on the new kits that were announced?
Away one is doing bits. Very nice. It's really nice. Home one is just a basic Adidas Accies kit, in my opinion. Don't like the fact that there's still no hoops are in the back and it's just a white blank at the back. But I suppose that's what happens when you buy off football, whatever you want to call it, supplier website, catalogue, and so it is what it is. The away one's really nice.
Yeah.
I'll definitely pre-order that since she says that there's only 20 in each size. So I'll make sure I'm pre-ordering that one when we finish this. But I am happy with every one, but home one, nah.
David, I know you're a fan of both. What are your opinions?
Like I say, the away one is absolute class. The home one is definitely one of the better ones we've had in recent years with Adidas. But again, all we want is a fully hooked, all sleeves, all around the back. But that's like I say, that's near perfect. That's all it's missing. And I'd say that's a perfect Accies kit. I take it's just that if you're not contracted with Adidas, then you won't get it specially made. That's why Celtic have the hook and we don't. But it is what it is. You can't help you.
And what are your thoughts on the away one? What do you think of the blue?
Really nice. Yeah, really nice. It seems that if you think about it, I said to you earlier when I was texting you that if you look at the last 20 years, we've had quite a lot of navy and sky blue kits. It's starting to kind of become a established away kit colour for us. So no, I like it. It's nice.
I think they're both gorgeous, and as Brandon said, I've got the away one pre-ordered. I'm going to pre-order the home one as well when I get a chance because they are both gorgeous. But we have three new players who will be playing in those kits so far. Callum Smith, Charlie Trafford and Ross Callahan all signing down. I suppose we'll start with Callum Smith. He was the first one to be announced. He started his career at Dunfermline. He was then loaned to Alloa, Arbroath and Airdrie before being released by Dunfermline when they released, I think it was like 16, 17 players in the summer there, and we've picked him up on a 2-year deal for free. Now, David, do we know anything about Callum Smith? Is he somebody that you've seen before?
I've only seen him, obviously, we all saw him in the League Cup game where he scored against Accies last year. I also seen him one more time last season. I was at Airdrie home to Peterhead because a friend of mine's a physio there, and he was okay. I'm sure I actually said to you at the time, the standout in that game, funnily enough, was Leon McCann. He was outrageous that day, but he seems to have got a lot of good reviews for Airdrie. Dunfermline fans don't seem to miss him that much, and I'm just surprised he's got the move, but I don't take any of that on board. We can spot potential in someone. We're not going to be signing somebody that's a team's best player, so it's about kind of getting them in and getting them up to standard with us. So I'm quite confident. For what I've read, I think he's going to be played more as a winger than a striker,
right? Which
we need, in my opinion. So no, I'm going to give the guy the benefit of the doubt because he's not an overwhelming signing in any way, but he said all the right things in the interviews and everything. So see how he gets on.
Brandon, do you share the same thoughts?
Nah.
All right, what's your opinions?
No, you know me, Mr. Positive, but no. If he's getting released for Dunfermline, they obviously don't rate him. Dunfermline are going for a bit of a push this year with the signings they've made, I think. So if they thought anything of him whatsoever, then they'd have kept him. Obviously, Airdrie fans are saying that he's well, but there's a massive jump for Championship, never mind League One.
Yeah.
So we're buying a youngster that done well for Airdrie in League One. It just shows the sort of faith that we've got in such a well-renowned youth system. If we're going to sign a young boy for there rather than give our own boys a chance. It's not. It doesn't excite me at all.
Yeah.
Obviously, I wait to see him before jumping down his throat too much, but nah, it doesn't. It doesn't excite me that well.
I suppose I partly agree with both of you. I guess I agree with Brandon in terms of he's not a signing that excites me, and I know David, you said that as well, but I do agree with the sentiment of if he's been released by Dunfermline, who, as you said, are kind of going for a push with some of their signings, it doesn't fill me with great confidence. But then I also agree with David when I say I do feel that at times we can see potential in young players and can hopefully bring that out of them. So
the way Scottish transfers work is you can't look too much into who he's been released by. I mean, we'll look at a couple. I mean, Tony Andrew released by an average Livy team. Look what he did for us. None of us were that bothered when we released Eamon Brophy. Look what he's turned into. So, like I said, I'm not saying that any means that he's going to be that level of player, but like you say, we wouldn't have signed him for nothing. So, like I say, I'm hoping, but like I say, I'm no jumping out my seat for it.
Yeah. Another one of the signings. When you go? No? Okay. Another one of the signings that we've got coming in is Charlie Trafford, 28 years old. He's a midfielder. He has a Canadian international with, I believe, only one cap. He was last at Inverness, where he played 70 times. I asked online for any Inverness fans to give me their opinions on him and what you think of Charlie Trafford. And a lot of them said, along with Callum Smith, they were surprised that he got the move. They said for Inverness, it was very hit and miss. Some weeks he would be unplayable, and some weeks he would barely touch the ball. I'm interested. We'll start with you this time, Brandon. Fingers crossed. Opinions on Charlie Trafford?
He's history in Scottish football. It's a bit of background in Scottish football, I suppose. He was playing pretty much every week for Inverness, so he was always in their starting 11. So at least it's no a random attempt to buy someone like your Kozo or whatever his name was, that type of player. So he's obviously not that bad if he's playing every week for Inverness, but the reviews for Inverness fans, like you say, is hit or miss. We'll just need to see what he is, but I'm not too over enthusiastic. It reminds me a bit of Chris Turner when we signed him for Dumbarton. So I'll just need to wait to see him, because I genuinely don't know how he plays already.
Yeah.
I cannot remember watching him for Inverness at all, so I'm not going to jump down his throat either just now, but we'll just need to wait and see how he plays.
But David, what's your opinions on Charlie Trafford? You seen him before?
I saw him on the Scottish Cup when he played against Hibs on the telly. The only thing that I'd say is, like Brandon says, he might not always be the most positive. I'm probably too hopeful for my own good when it comes to some signings. I mean, he's not obviously a worldie, but I'm pretty positive. He's a creative midfielder. I think he's a playmaker. Right. So if I'm comparing a playmaker in the Championship, I always think of Ali Crawford. The year we got promotion, I think a lot of people might not remember, or maybe they do remember, but Ali Crawford was incredibly hit and miss that season. Now, when you're a creative player in that league where the defence will just rip you apart and it's quite fast-paced, there's no space at all, it's hard to be that kind of player. So you will be up and down a little bit more, but once you get a bit more time with the ball, like you do in the Premiership, I think you could do a bit more. I mean, there's a couple of players, if you think the likes of Craig Sibbald or Robbie Crawford at Livy, who both didn't have the most startling years in the Championship before for Ayr United and Falkirk, and they seem to do well. So I'm hoping this guy will kind of settle in a bit better, because, like I say, I just always think of Ali Crawford. I thought him and Ziggy Gordon that season were very, very hit and miss, and then they two both excelled completely when we take the step up. So I'm hopeful, but like I say, I'm always hopeful.
And a third and final signing so far has been Ross Callaghan. Now, Brandon, I'm going to throw to you first because I know that this is one of the signings you were actually happy with. You were pleased with Ross Callaghan.
Oof. I wouldn't go as far as saying pleased, but
more positive than before. More positive.
Obviously, there is signings I'd much prefer, but no, I'm a wee bit happy with that one because obviously I remember him for his Hearts days, and he was obviously he was at Raith Rovers before them, and he got his move to Hearts, and I remember him back in Raith as well, and he was a dead promising player, and I always thought he would be one of the ones that was going to go quite far.
Right.
But he's obviously not been that lucky with injuries, etc. And ever since Hearts, he's sort of went just down the way ever since. But I think Dundee fans were obviously fuming, which is always a bonus. The fact that we got him, and he left, obviously, and so. He's definitely showed promise previously, and obviously it's somewhat. What's the best way? Like, I wouldn't go anywhere near as far as saying temps,
right.
But it's somewhere in that way where he's been very unlucky with injuries. Mm-hmm. He started off his career dead promising, and it's just went down ever since. So fingers crossed, we can sort of rejuvenate or revitalise his career a bit, and he brings out what the potential was previously shown. So that's why I'm quite hopeful of him. The other two I don't know much about, so I can't really say much, but when you just look at their sort of background and previous prowess, it's not exactly woo. Do you know what I mean?
I agree with you, to be honest. Ross Callaghan is what the one out of the three I'm kind of most positive about. He's been around Scotland for a long time. I know he's a big Hearts fan, which is interesting, that dynamic. In the interview, Brian Rice referred to him as a goal-scoring midfielder. So he's obviously someone he sees who's going to be chipping in with goals, which is what we need. There wasn't enough goals from midfield last season. So he obviously sees that as a positivity. So I'm excited to see him. He's still only 26. You know, he's just reaching the kind of peak. So I'm interested. Same as you, I hope we can revitalise his career a wee bit and maybe make him a wee Aki star. I think that would be fantastic. There are two players who we have on loan currently that we're aware of. We'll start with Justin Johnson, a winger who was previously probably most known by Scottish fans for being at Dundee United. He's also played in did you say, Brandon, it was the Cypriot second division?
Cypriot second division is his most recent club,
So, just saying that immediately puts some Hamilton fans off, understandably. So, he's a winger. From what I've heard, he's rapid, but speed isn't everything in the game. We know he's been playing in some of the trial matches. David, is Justin Johnson a name that stands out to you? Is he MD that you know? Are you a big fan of the Cypriot second division, David?
Don't hold me back. Without being negative, I think on first glimpse it seems like an old style Aki signing where Cypriot second division, we're all over that.
Yeah.
But you've heard positives. I mean, we've got nothing to go on at all. The guy looks fit. He apparently is very quick and very skillful. So, like I say, there has been. I mean, we always talk about the typical foreign signings, but you actually got to remember there's a couple of them that turned out to be absolute gems, like your Lucas Tyler Petra and players like that. That's the only one actually, but you never know. You'd like to think that I have a bit more confidence in Brian Rice's signings than previous managers, let's just say. But yeah, hopefully with the kind of other players that are available, that the reason we're sticking with this one is because he shows a bit better, and plus he's been there a couple of weeks now by the looks of it, so they've obviously not just seen him for 20 minutes in one game and then thought we'll go for him. So you never know. Hopefully he's something. I mean, like you said, there was plenty of talk about him when he was at Dundee United, so hopefully his ability's still there, right?
Brandon, is Justin Johnson somebody that excites you?
No.
I'm scared to ask.
No, It's a bit different, that one. He obviously... Oh, sorry, I'm getting messaged.
Right.
So, it's a bit different to your normal fucking Hit and Hope, Chris Mandy Angun, Nico Sumsky ones, with the fact that he's actually played in Britain before.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? He started his career, was it a Man U youngster, I think it was, that he's then got a move to Dundee United, and he was getting, obviously I've read about him a wee bit, and he was obviously getting sort of rave reviews as a next SPFL wonder kid, etc. Jackie McNamara left, and then things just went downhill. We went on loan to York when obviously Jackie went there. Didn't work out there. Then he's had a period out of football. And then I'm not 100% sure if it's the Cypriot second division or the Greek second one. I just know it's one of the type of European leagues.
It is the Cypriot one. It's it was with Othellos Athenianahu.
I know them well. So I just don't know. Obviously, his agents still get ties.
Nope.
His agents still get ties back to here. That's how he's obviously managed to get a trial here. You're saying you've heard he's fast. I can go pick somebody for the street that's fast. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. He's obviously had the potential previously. But then the past couple of years, he's done fuck all. He's been in a league that I could probably get a game in. So, I don't know. Well, they obviously see something. They must see something in him if he's still here in trial after all these weeks.
Yeah. I mean,
because I saw a picture of him. Sorry, Carol.
I was going to say, just to jump on that, so he was at Othellos Athenianahu, played 21 games in the Cypriot second division, scoring 4 goals. He was then loaned to, pronunciation, Akritas Chlorakaras, which is also in the Cypriot second division, so another second division team where he's played 15 games and scored 1 goal. So he's been loaned, he's been out to 2 Cypriot division teams, scoring 5 goals in total.
I mean, the only thing you could look at is at least he's been playing football. I mean, we took David Templeton and he had played no football.
Please do not compare him to David Templeton.
No, but I'm just saying, like, the kind of signing is at least this guy's been playing football.
I think David Templeton could have played with one leg in the Cypriot second division and scored more than 5 goals.
No, but you know what I mean? Like, at least he's obviously still got fitness there, hopefully, but he's one of these ones we won't know anything until we see him in our Aki's top. Playing, like I say, there's nothing to be excited about because you've got nothing to go on at all.
I mean, he still is only 23 years old, so it's not as if we're talking about a player who's, in his late 20s or anything. So he's still young, he's still got room to grow. I've just noticed, actually, looking at his page, he was actually, so he was at the Manchester United youth system, as Brandon said, and then he was at FC United of Manchester. Which ties us very nicely into the next player we've got on loan, Tunde Owolabi.
On loan?
On loan. God, I hope we had him signed up already. Got him on trial, Tunde Owolabi. 24 years old, he's a centre forward, he's a striker for FC United, scoring 35 goals in 41 games. That's ridiculous.
Doesn't matter what level of football, whether it's the Cypriot second division or if it's fucking English 7th tier. If you're scoring 35 goals, you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
You're not just going to be do you know what I mean? You know what you're doing. Whether it's junior football, amateur football, top tier division football, if you're scoring that amount of goals, you clearly know what you're doing to a certain degree. We've obviously went down that market before with Mikael Miller. It's probably a similar sort of signing. Mm-hmm. Miller's probably more defensive minded than defensive minded.
A defensive winger,
more defensive than the striker position of Tunde. So I'd be really happy with this one. Just with regards to because he knows how to score a goal. I'd just get him signed up now.
Yeah, David, I know he's somebody that you've been raving about as well, Tunde. He excites you.
I know. It's really, when you say it, it's stupid because, again, it is non-league football, but like Brandon said, anybody that can score that amount of goals, it's getting no difference what kind of level you're playing at. If you're scoring that kind of goals, there's obviously something there. I mean, it's worked with us a couple of times with Miller, Darry McKinnon. Remember, he was a striker when we got him. He had a decent goals record. And then David Moyo, he looks like another one that's a perfect example. Hopefully, like you say, Mikael Miller's move to Rotherham is probably going to do us a lot of favours now.
Yeah. Because
in the space of 3 years, he's went from non-league to championship football. So this guy, I would be really excited. I would imagine it's going to be a 2-year deal because the first year they'll want him getting used to full-time training and up to fitness and being able to deal with it. But like you say, anybody is obviously a natural goal scorer. The good thing is we don't have to rely too heavy on him at the moment because we do have Ogbo and Moyo already established, which makes it even better a signing. Is we're not putting all our eggs on this guy coming on and getting a goal. We've got time to get it right with him and give him the appropriate game time. So no, I'm hopeful. Hopefully it is getting done. But I'd be very happy with that one because you got to imagine there'll be some other clubs interested. Same when we're talking about Ross Callaghan. It's nice when they're actually choosing us over another team.
Well,
it would have been. I'm sure there is quite a lot of people interested since you've got certain fans. Certain fans releasing his autobiography before he actually signs.
This has nothing to do with me. Hands in the air. To move swiftly onward, when you jump on Tunde Ovalavi's Twitter, which I've been following for the last few days, you see quite a lot of FC Manchester fans jumping on wishing him good luck. There's been a lot of talk about, a lot of people know that he's on trial obviously up here, that's been reported. A lot of them saying best of luck, we know you're going to go up there and smash it. So, but it looks like their fans have kind of came to the conclusion that he's definitely leaving them. And like we've been saying, he's been on trial with us for the last few weeks, playing in these bounce games. So
I also noticed, which is you don't want to see, that one of their fans actually gave him proper racial abuse because he was leaving them.
Right.
I saw that he tweeted about it, which is you obviously don't like to see. But so he's obviously been getting wished all the best. So it looks as if he is coming to us, which is quite good. But obviously, some fans weren't taking too good to it, and
I think if he's coming up for a trial, he obviously wants to come here. It's just whether, I think the ball's in our court. And I mean, you look at some of the players we have given deals to in the past. So, you know what I mean? There's been a lot worse than that's got a contract. But if he's been with us for at least 2 weeks already, there's obviously interest for our side as well.
Yeah.
So hopefully, like I say, it's nice that we don't have to rely on him too heavily now. But hopefully we get it confirmed soon.
Absolutely, he's one that jumps out at me. And we've been talking about these bounce games. Let's get into those results. I suppose the first one, the one that's been shared around on Twitter for a ridiculous decision. Rangers, we played them at their training ground. It finished 2-1 Rangers. They got a penalty, and I think it was the 89th minute after Morelos diving in a bounce game. Imagine that, honestly. Imagine doing that in a bounce game. It's ridiculous.
If you were to ask any probably Scottish football fan, what player would do that? I think 99.9% would say the exact same person. Yeah. So,
and we don't know any, because it's a bounce game, so we don't know any official lineups, anything like that. We can kind of see from pictures who was playing and who was not. So we know Ross Callaghan got a run out in the Rangers game. Who else was it? We know Tunde played because Tunde rounded the keeper and unfortunately was outmuscled by the defender before he could score. We also played St Mirren at home, and we know there were quite a few fans there. Over the fence at Sainsbury's, there was some at the Hill, just when you're coming from the train station. We won that game 2-1, so that result flipped. And of course we played a bounce game away to Hibs today where we lost 2-1. So I don't want to focus too much on the results really, because that's not what they're for. it's more about fitness. But I suppose the thing you look out for in this is who's playing and who's not. So is there anybody that you've seen in any of the photos, Brandon, or anything you've seen online that stands out to you in terms of who was playing and who wasn't?
Well, obviously, we found out that Temps isn't going to make the... That was one that I was speaking about before I actually found out today that he was injured and he was missing it. I noticed he wasn't playing. We know Easton's out. I noticed Big Oggy in pictures today.
Yep.
I think that's the first time I've saw him.
He's been isolating for the last few weeks, yeah.
He's right. I wouldn't say anything. Aye. So apart from that, no, I think everybody else has been getting their sort of just everybody's getting the same amount. I think we've been switching teams at half time, given two different sides of 11. Like I says, going back to trials, I think it's very worrying the fact that we've not got any defenders.
Yeah.
And on trial, even at least, going into that Celtic game, I'm shiting my pants because that defence is just fucking horrific.
Yeah.
Especially without Easton. It's going to be worrying, but it's good to see everybody getting game time. Obviously, results aren't a massive thing in friendlies. It's just about getting fitness, but it shows that I suppose we've won one, lost two, and it's been fairly narrow scores. Mm-hmm. So we've been getting good fitness. We seem to be at an alright level, but I still think there's plenty that needs done.
Absolutely. David, same question to you. Has there anything jumped out? Anybody playing, anybody not playing that's interested you in these bounce games?
Not really. I mean, one thing that I meant to mention earlier that I can't remember where I read it though, but when the Ross Callaghan was announced, Brian Rice was saying that he's a player the fans will definitely take to. Mm-hmm. Now, if you're asking me, that would mean that he's one of these 110% guys who'll cover every blade of grass, like your Scott Martins, your Irish Gogiches. So I think somebody like that's going to be exciting. It is, like Brandon said about the lack of defenders coming in. I mean, it's just when you think of the actual numbers that we have, because there's going to be no reserve league this year, we've got loads of them. They're not enough up to the standard that we need.
Yep.
Nowhere near it, but one thing I will say is if we are going to have somebody step up like a Sean Mount, like a Jamie Hamilton, and be better than we thought, it's like I say, it's going to come with us thinking the opposite. Nobody expected Alex Gogic to have the season he had last year. Pretty sure none of us would have had him in a starting 11 this time last year, especially in that role with other players around him. So I'm hoping a couple of the younger guys step up, because Scott McMahon's done it over the last couple of years. I mean, I can see there's, like you say, Jamie Hamilton hopefully is the one to do it. But we need a couple of guys to step up, because on paper just now the defence is nowhere near SPL standard.
And that ties us quite nicely into lineups for next season. So I'm interested, Brandon, if you could put together a starting lineup of the players we have in right now. So let's forget about Tunde and Justin that we have on trial. Players we've got in the now, could you put together a lineup? I imagine David and I will agree with you on most things, but if there is anything we disagree with, we'll jump in and ask about it. But if you could run through your starting lineup for me.
Well, it's obviously a difficult one, because my starting lineup at Celtic would be different to my starting lineup at Hampton Ross County.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's a difficult one. See, if we were going with, what the starting lineup would be against Celtic, or if everybody was fit, what my starting lineup would be?
I would be more interested in the normal weeks, the county, the St Mirren games, those ones, because special occasions when you're with Celtic, the kind of rules go out the window with team selection by the looks of it.
That's true. So let's just go with a standard. You're at home to Ross County, you're at home to Kilmarnock, whoever. What's your starting lineup?
So you've not got a right back there now, so
nope.
We need a right back. You know what I mean? Just go sign Marcus Fraser.
He seems like a no-brainer.
It makes perfect sense. He wants to be in
the central belt.
The central belt. He's not got a club yet. Majority of central belt clubs have got a right back. Just sign him and stop being tight bastards.
It would be a hell of a signing. The guy's got captain experience for a successful first county team. Aye, I'd be really happy with that.
Yeah, I agree. But we don't have him, so let's forget about him right now.
Keeper wise as well, I'm not happy there. So
I don't see, to be honest, I don't think any of us are fully confident in our goalkeepers for the season coming up.
A couple of my friends were at Estet Mum, and apparently Fulton just looks
out of place,
just like a bomb scare, which is understandable. Yeah. So obviously, I don't want to go back and what we were talking about previously and stuff like that, but we're obviously previously linked with an ex-player that's got experience down south. Now, we don't know much about who that is, but why don't we just go and get Michael McGovern? You know what I mean? He's got a flat in Hamilton still that he rents out. He's got a house in Straven that he still rents out. Just go and sign McGovern. You need a good keeper for 15 points a season, so we're not going to do well with that. But back to the previous point, if starting 11, in goals, Owen Ford Williams.
Okay.
I'm not happy with it, but
got to be done. All right.
Got to be done. We've not got a right back. Basic right back. See, I'm torn between putting Scott Martin there, even though I know that's not his best position, but he's a safer sort of option than a Kieran McKenna or a Bjortov.
Or a Sean Want.
See, Sean Want, I would have probably in my centre back.
Right.
But we play with more attacking full-backs / wingers, wing-backs, rather than just a basic right back. So if I was going with Sean Want at right back, that would then mean I'd need to have a Scott McMahon at left back. But we know Scott McMahon's not a left back, he's a left wing back. So it really just depends on what sort of formation we're playing. If we're playing 5 at the back, I have Martin right back.
Right.
With one Easton and Hamilton. And McMahon, the wing back. That's if we've got the wing backs.
Yep.
If I'm playing 4 at the back, I would have Sean Want right back, Hamilton and Easton centre back with McMahon left back. But I don't know. That'd be my 2 defences, depending on how many we're in at that.
David, what do you make of that back line? Anything you would change there?
We just need a right back in. I think I would stick Sean Want at right back. Obviously, when Easton's fit, him and Hamilton would be the 2 centre halves. And then obviously, if he's fit, McMahon plays away game at left back. We seem to go with a 4 a bit more last season. So I think that'll be, but just hope to God that, like I say, I know the transfer window is going to be a bit later this season. It's October it's running to. I know that seen a lot of stuff online saying that the English market is going to be a lot different than what usually is. There's going to be a lot of available players. So hopefully we are keeping an eye open for that special one right back, because we do need a starting standard right back. But with the way it is just now, I would have Sean Want right back, Easton and Hamilton the centre halves, and McMahon in the left.
Brandon, moving into your midfield, if you've got Scott Martin as your right back, what are you doing in the middle?
So obviously that's when you're playing the sort of wing backs, sort of 5 at the back. So in the middle, it's a tough one, because it just depends on what type of you're playing. Because I'd have Collar in there.
Yep.
But then,
do you pair him with Charlie Trafford? Do you pair him with Ross Callahan?
See, I'd have probably, the way it is, you'd need to go like that. So I'd probably have Collar with Trafford, because from what I've saw for Inverness fans have said he's more sort of a deep playmaker.
Right.
So I'd probably play him with Trafford. I'd then maybe have Callaghan just slightly in front of them, with then having Smith, Temps, and Moyle.
All right, 5-4-1.
Pretty much, aye.
5-4-1. That's interesting. David, what would your midfield be? Is there anything you would change there?
No, not really. I think if we were playing the kind of teams around us, I think we would be maybe a bit more the kind of 4-4-2, maybe. So it would. I mean, me personally, I'd have Scott Martin in the middle. So if it was my team, it would be the back four that I mentioned: Scott Martin and Will Collar.
Yep.
And then your Temps and Smith, and then Augie and Moyo up top. Just obviously depends what who's fit at this time when it comes up.
That's what it is. It just depends on how you're who you're playing. In my opinion, obviously you want your first starting 11, but I think the players that we've got there, you do need to change it quite a lot because and to suit who you're playing and what type of game you're playing. And it's a really tough one because it's not as if MD's massively better than another person when it comes to our midfield. I think with regards to your midfield and up front, you can chop and change that a lot. If you were to chop and change your defensive a lot, you're in a fucking big problem.
Yeah.
Because, for instance, going back to that Rangers friendly, that starting back four could play starting back four in fucking Bowling League football. Honestly, it's scary. I'm not even kidding you on.
No, I know. I'm
not. I'm not even joking when I say that. That would be an East Kilbride defence. Do you know what I mean? And it's quite worrying that that's what we're going to need to go with at the start of the season. And obviously, with Celtic being the first one, you're obviously saying about the right back situation, but we can't leave it too long.
Yeah.
With the right back situation, because just say we leave it until October, and we've got 0 points for fucking the first 5-6 games. So I don't think we can leave it that long. I think Aki just need to stop being a tight bastards. I know COVID's happened, and obviously finances are restricted, but just go and buy a right back and a keeper. Please just go do that.
Please.
Sign Tunde. See if we sign him. If we sign Tunde, a keeper, and a good right back, then don't get me wrong, the squad that I'm looking at just now, the average age is about 22.
Yeah. Right?
So that's worrying as it is, because you need experience in there. But if they go and sign them, I don't think we can expect too much because of what's went on. And I'm not expecting too much. I would just like them to go and get at least one defender, and that Tunde, and a keeper if possible. But I'm not expecting much at all.
I'm interested to hear, Brandon, you said that David Moyle will be your starter. I'm interested, what do you think his season's going to be like this year? Because we know during the summer he's been working extremely hard. If you follow him on Instagram, he's been doing incredible workouts nearly every single day. He scored this Mirren game. How do you think his season's going to go? You get big hopes for him.
Like, obviously, I've talked to you about him before, obviously, during lockdown. He looks like an absolute beast, man. And he's obviously been keeping himself proper fit. And I think this will be quite a big breakthrough season for him. Obviously, last season, he had 2 games where he was untouchable, and that was 2 games out of 20 odd.
Yeah.
So obviously people got in the bandwagon quite a lot with him, just hyping him up to be something that he really wasn't. But I was putting him up front himself because I'd rather him, if it was one up top, I'd rather him himself than Augie himself. Yeah. But I think for what we saw him and Augie together, they add something different. Do you know what I mean? Because you've got Augie with his horrendous first touch. It's that horrendous. It works. Does him good. Do you know what I mean? But and then you've got Moyo, who adds, I don't know, he's just different to anything that we've probably had before up front.
He just got energy. I think just he just runs and chases absolutely everything. I mean,
and he can jump higher than I've ever saw any kid jump before.
Yep. So,
no, it's a weird one with our team because you're going into the start of the season thinking all the time because you're not making these brilliant signs or this is our year, but it is a hard team to work around. I just think we need to get the defence sorted because midfield and attack, if we sign this Sunday, I think we've got good enough options about there. Mm-hmm. It's just the defence needs sorted ASAP, man.
Yeah. I absolutely agree. We'll move on. Obviously, we've been talking about it for our lineup. So we've got our first game of the season coming up. It's Celtic away at Parkhead. The first time we'll be able to see Celtic away at Parkhead with a pole in your view, which is going to be very exciting. David, I'll start with you, man. Are you with the mindset of we have to play the Old Firm anyway, we might as well get it done early on, or were you looking for an easier start?
Obviously, I think everybody naturally had the exact same reaction when we saw that was our first game and it was, oh Christ, that's going to be a doing. Mm-hmm. But when you actually look at the fixtures, I think it might have kind of worked out. It's going to sound daft, but kind of perfect in the long term, because you got to remember the league starts next weekend. Mm-hmm. It's no like the last couple of years has been no. Yeah, the last couple of years has been no pre-season because it's the Betfred Cup. Yeah. So those games are the games, but we're actually going in with no pre-season games. I mean, we're only playing bounce games now. That's when it's a different 11 each half. So we're actually going to Parkhead without a full 90 minutes under our belt. So it's don't get me wrong, all the teams are in the same boat apart from the Old Firm because they're away in France and they're playing friendlies, but it's only going to go one way if we're being honest. Like I say, hopefully we put a good performance in, but I'm more interested in County the next week. So hopefully this game is an eye-opener and it means that we're ready for County, because if we had County for the first game of the season, like you say, there's not going to be a single team out there out with the Old Firm that's going to be up to standard given that first week. So the County and the St Mirren game a fortnight later, they're the most important games in that opening month for the big picture. Obviously we want to win the derby as well, but I think hopefully it helps us in the long term because it's going to be a tough game.
Brandon, what's your thoughts on it? Are you thankful to get out of the way early?
Obviously, when you get out of the way, you're like, thank fuck that's over. But see, because it's a whole different scenario. We've never experienced anything like this in our life. We're going into this game, everybody's hyping it up, and we're going to get absolutely pumped. Mm-hmm. So when it's over with, I thank fuck it's over with. But see, until it's over with, it's just going to drag in. And the match itself, it's because of that defence just gives me the fear so much, just thinking about it. And it's obviously Johnson last season went to Parkhead and gets pumped 7-0, right? Their season started off horrendous. You can't get any worse surely than getting beat 7-0, which fingers crossed, we've been beat there 8-1. So it's just worrying because I hate the social media backlash. That's the thing I hate most. When you've got your Celtic fans hyping up the bee's knees, try to flaunt everything at you, but I just want to get it. I just want to fast forward, like David says, to Ross County. Hopefully, it will be an eye opener to Brian Rice and the hierarchy, showing them look at the state of that defence. We've went to Parkhead and Ibrox in recent times, and we've actually been quite compact. Our defence has been well, and we've nearly sneaked a result at Parkhead. We got a result at Ibrox, and Brian Rice doesn't seem to lose massive margins there. Mm-hmm. So I can only take that as a sort of positive going into it. But I can just see this going really, really, really bad at Parkhead, and I just want it to be done already.
I think I definitely agree. I don't think it'll end well for us. I'm cross my fingers, but I don't think it'll end well for us. But let's be honest, I'm just excited to get football back. I'm excited to be able to watch games through the live streaming system. I'm just excited to have stuff to talk about now. I'm really, really excited for that, and I think most fans will agree it's just good to get football back on the telly. That brings us quite nicely to the end of the OnlyAccies podcast. Before we go, Brandon, I think you've just got something to say.
Well, I don't know if all Accies fans will know, but unfortunately, late this afternoon today, a very big fan that's followed Accies since before any three of us were born. If you add our lifespans together, it doesn't even talk to old Guy's age. So, unfortunately, Guy passed away late afternoon today. For as long as I remember, Guy went to every game I can remember him, maybe in a young age. Even at the old age he was at, he would still go in the Volks bus, go to Ross County away. He'd be going to every home game. He would never miss an Accies game despite how frail his health was. The past couple of months he's been unfortunately battling with cancer, and unfortunately that horrible disease got the better of him today. But I'd just like to give my best wishes to his family, obviously the rest of the friends, and I'm sure he knows that all the Accies family will give him a good send off, and I'm sure as soon as the funeral arrangements are out, we'll be able to provide all the listeners with that as well if anybody's looking for that info. But yeah, just God rest his soul.
Yeah, his family and friends, obviously, we send them our love. Thanks very much for listening and watching the OnlyAccies podcast. We really do appreciate it. We know it's been a while since the last one, but it's been a lot of news to catch up on. If you do enjoy these, be sure to leave a like if you're on YouTube. Be sure to follow us on Spotify. You can also subscribe on YouTube and check us out on Twitter and Facebook as well. Thanks a lot for watching, guys, and we'll see you again soon.